In this interview, I sit down with my good friend Karen Hutton to discuss the magic of My Little Pony. Hey guys, I'm here with my good friend, also known as Karen Hutton, is joining me to discuss what she's been up to. I haven't talked to Karen in forever. Karen's been forever running the globe, switching systems, changing lives, and otherwise spreading rainbows, stars, and glitter all over the planet Earth.
Wait, I got to write that down. That's got to go on my business card.
I had this vision of you like My Little Pony running across the planet, spreading joy. The planet is monochrome until Karen gets there, and it turns Technicolor when Karen sets foot in the country. I
could start a whole online school and call it MLP training.
My Little Pony. You should totally do it.
I could totally do it.
Well, Karen, welcome back to TWiP. Finally,
thank you, Frederick. It's so good to be here and see your gorgeous face.
Oh, get out of here! Yeah, it is kind of gorgeous, but no. I kid. Let's catch up. Okay, so first of all, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but what have you been up to before we dive into the interrogation part of this interview?
The interrogation. I don't know. I'm a little sweaty and nervous. Anyway, well, since we saw each other, which was last fall, I think it was.
Yeah. At an Arcanum party, no less.
I know. That was fun, by the way. So I actually have, the last several months I've been home photographing winter. We actually live in California in the mountains. We finally had a winter because we've been having a drought. So I've been photographing a lot, but I've been at home formulating what's next in K-Hut world. And I'm just beginning to unleash the hounds. Or the Kraken, one of them. Well, something. I'll just remember that you were the one that said crack. But anyway, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. So I am about to do a bunch. I'm just poised, getting ready to go on a 2-month European trip, and just released an ebook and some other things that I know we're going to talk about. So it's been kind of like the quiet below the radar.
Nice. Time. Or the calm before the storm.
Something like that. I don't know. Well, analogies are us.
That's what I do. I speak in analogies, like hieroglyphics coming out of my mouth.
MLP training.
Yeah, I know. There you go. MLP. You should register that. MyLittlePonyTraining.com.
Probably get sued for improper usage of the pony.
Even if you get sued, that would be great publicity. Karen Hutton sued by My Little Pony.
And you're going to pay the attorney's fees, right? Yes.
No, I know. Someone else in politics will pay your attorney's fees.
Right. I'm sure that'll happen. Yeah. Just put it out there.
I love it.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on then. So your site is brilliant. You have a clothing line out there. I saw that.
I do. Vita.
How's that going? Yeah, it's Vita.
Well, it's going well. It's an idea. Like, I haven't put a ton of energy into it yet, and still it's developing as an area of my business and interest. And I mean, I just love the idea of my art and my work on clothing, because I love clothes, and I love Vita. I love what they stand for, and the products are incredible.
Can I tell you that I have a line with them as well now?
Really? Oh my God!
Go look at it. Yeah.
I will.
It's I did it with imagery from my Vietnam trip. So,
really?
Yeah. Well, actually, there's Vietnam and some images from Paris on some garments in it too.
So have you gotten some garments to touch and to feel, because the quality is incredible. I've got the silk, and so I have my scarf in cashmere and silk of the Notre Dame, and it's incredible. And I have some silk too. It's really top notch. You'd be impressed.
I love it. They'll make great Christmas gifts, people. So
exactly. And really, people write me all the time. What's Vita? Are they on the up and up? And I'm like, they're totally on the up and up. And if you ever wanted to have your stuff, on top quality, clothing line, this is the way to do it, because there's no risk, as you all know.
Yep. Love it. Vita Las Vegas. No, that doesn't sound right.
No.
Vida. Yes, VID. I'm marketing for them right now. Vita La Revolution. There you go. Perfect.
And it's shopvita.com is the website, by the way.
Shop Vita. How do they get to your stuff directly? Just search for Karen Hutton on the site?
Yeah.
Okay. Same with my stuff, Frederick Fan. Awesome. See, we're connected and we didn't even know because the industry is so tight. I love this.
I know. And it's like, it just keeps connecting. Anyway, go ahead.
So I want to talk a little bit about, I want to take some credit, first of all. So you and I were in San Francisco having lunch a while back.
Yes.
Back when you were still shooting your large DSLR gear and swearing by it and telling me that
that was before I was swearing at it. And I know what story you're going to tell. And I'm just,
yes, I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell. I can't hold it back.
Tell it.
Where were we? What's that little cliff area that we were?
Sutro Baths. We were walking down Sutro Baths.
Sutro Baths. We were shooting up there. And Karen you reminded me of Charlie Brown with his backpack. You had like a backpack for like you're deploying to Iraq or something, full of all your gear and tripods and all this stuff. And I'm like, Karen, why are you carrying all that stuff?
You said that to me too, exactly. Why are you carrying all that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then boom, gravity took over, and suddenly Karen was horizontal.
Flat on my butt and that was really embarrassing and painful. Mm-hmm. I have to say,
and painful. Luckily, you got through it without any permanent damage other than your ego.
Yeah, exactly. And you and I had been having the conversation about mirrorless versus the big DSLRs, and I had my reasons for wanting to stay. But that day when I fell and it hurt like hell, and I looked up at you and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done.
That was a pivotal moment.
That was
That was it. And since then you've switched, right? So now you did, but that was interesting the way you switched, because you're not a knee-jerk switcher. You did your due diligence, you tested a bunch of systems and weighed the pluses and minuses, and then ultimately ended up on what?
Fuji film. Yes.
Nice. And you like it.
Oh my God.
Why do you like it? Because we were talking about before we started recording, there's people that swear up and down by Sony, people that swear up and down by Micro Four Thirds. That's what I shoot. Canon, obviously, Nikon. There's all these brand specific people that if you ask them, they'll give you a million reasons why their brand and what they chose is better than everyone else. I call it a form of digital Stockholm syndrome. Right. So it is, right. You're identifying with your captors. Right?
Yeah, I know. Right.
So why Fuji? Why does it work for you better? And that's a good point, right? Because it works for you in the way you shoot. May not work for everybody else, but why does it work for you?
Okay. So first of all, just back up just a millisecond and say all cameras are good. There's no crappy cameras out there now, period. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even our phones are incredible. So the wrong question is, what's the best camera? The right question is, what do I want to do? What do I want to experience? What do I want to say? What do I want to do, feel, see? Like, how do I see the world, and what is it that I want to do? This goes back to my whole message about finding your voice. So the right question to ask is not, what's the best camera? The right questions to ask are of yourself, and to identify, what it is you love, to follow that line of what you love and have that bring you to your gear. Yeah. So that's what I did. So I knew I had a laundry list of things that were important to me, what I wanted to experience, all the way from, holding it, touching it. I wanted button driven, not menu driven. I wanted, certain things I could give or take. They weren't deal breakers, but I had my list of deal breakers up there, and image quality, and this certain thing that I know in my mind what it is. I still can't quite put it into words, but I knew what it was I wanted out of my images. Yeah. So I did, I tried them all, like you said. And then when I ended up with a Fuji in my hands and I looked at that image and I was like, well, first of all, the experience was exactly what I imagined in my mind that I wanted. And then I looked at those images and I was like, oh my God, I'm home.
Did you hear angels singing in the choir?
I kind of did. And, there's a little bit of a transitional period and, whatever, but I didn't care because the result was freaking phenomenal for me, for my preferences.
And that's, I think what you said just bears repeating, because you hit it right on the head. A lot of people say, hey, what camera should I buy? Which is like saying, which woman should I marry, or which man should I marry? Right. Mm-hmm. It depends on what you need and what you're looking for and what your individual proclivities are, right? For this. And people will start, which is an issue with our industry, right? People will look at celebrities in the industry and say, hey, this guy or this woman shoots with that. I'm going to buy that. It must be good. and they end up with something that's not tailored to them. You're saying begin with the end in mind. Like forget about all the cameras and all this other stuff. List out what it is you're trying to do, what you need. Look at that list and then match it to the stuff that's out there. And that's, then
there's never been
the ocean's part at that point.
Exactly, because there's never been a time in history where we have these kinds of options. You'll drive yourself insane if you try to go by. I mean, in fact, really good photographers sometimes make this mistake. I've had them reach out to me. Oh, my camera broke. What should I get? And I'm like, really? You're asking me that question? Right. Why aren't you asking yourself what it is you want next, what experience you want? And then, to have them then go to where the groundswell is based on marketing or, people talking about it.
It's like saying, hey, I'm in the market for a new house, Karen. Where should I buy it?
That's what it's like. That is what it's like. I mean, and that is part of what's, driving me in the direction in my business that I'm going to, because I'm like, I'm really tired of being asked that question and hearing that question. So anyway, Fuji is the one that absolutely is 100% from my artist's point of view and the experience that I want. It happens to be a retro. People say, oh, it's the retro feel. And I'm like, well, some cameras are retro that don't work for me. This does. And, it is, I swear to God. What it is it's a perfect instrument for me because I don't want to spend my time fussing with my gear and thinking about what to do, like how to make it. I want it to help me. I want it to give me ideas. I want it to be so amazing. It's transparent unless it's saying, here, did you think of this? And that's what it does. It's incredible for me.
What about sensor size with that thing? What is it? An APS-C? Is it APS-C sensor?
It's an APS-C, and the microns are big. They're definitely on the larger size, which is why I think the image quality is so good. And it's like the low noise at high ISO and all that is certainly in play there. Incredible dynamic range. I mean, it's just like, God, there's nothing you can't do with that camera.
It's got one toe in the infrared spectrum, right?
Practically. I mean, I was shooting a lot of HDR with my Canon gear, and I'm trying to think if I have done any. I mean, I don't really shoot it anymore. Occasionally, I'll certainly blend if I'm in a really high contrast situation and I have to. But HDR is something I use very, very, very selectively now, if at all. I just don't have to.
With the smaller sensor size, the Sony people are saying, yeah, that sounds great and kumbaya with Fuji and all that. But I have a full frame sensor on my Sony, and my A7S can shoot in near darkness. What do you say to that, Karen Hutton?
Well, do you want to shoot in near darkness? Yeah. I mean, I've shot in as low a light as I care to. I mean, I can't speak for people who want to shoot in the dark because I don't want to shoot in the dark, so I don't have any experience. Yeah, and it doesn't matter to me. I've shot action in low light environments and not had any problem. They also have the X Pro 2, which is still APS-C but 25 megapixels. And I have to say, I'm like, why do you need such a large sensor and so many megapixels? First of all, megapixels are, pixels are not all created equal. There are good ones and small ones and big ones and bad ones. And, so you got to be clear on the microns that make up the pixels that make up your image. Otherwise, don't talk to me about it. But the X Pro 2 is now 25 megapixels, and I haven't seen it yet because it's new, but I'm expecting to have a crack at that, but I hear amazing things about it.
Ignorant about the Fuji system. What does the lens ecosystem look like for Fuji? I mean, if you buy an X Pro 2 and you have an older camera, all the lenses are interchangeable, obviously, throughout the entire Fuji system, correct? And
correct.
Are all the lenses represented that you need as an artist? And you're primarily landscape, but you do a lot of street stuff as well. But
yeah, that was part of my laundry list. I needed I needed a wide selection of lenses, and I needed a particular short list. And then I wanted a longer list, and their lenses are incredible. They're incredible lenses, and they've got a great selection of them that suited everything that I even thought I might want to do in addition to what I needed to do.
So you're happy with that, Karen.
Well, let's put it this way. I hung on to my Canon because I have a hard time letting go. But I hung on to my Canon for a year. I figured if I didn't use it for a year, the chances were good that I probably wasn't. And I hung on to 2 lenses and 1 camera body and just sent them off last week.
Oh, wow. That's a rite of passage then, isn't it? Huh.
It was. I did the little kumbaya because, Canon served me very, very well. And I have nothing bad to say about it. It's just that this system suits where I'm going.
Yeah. Now, were you, during that overlap period where you had both systems, were you taking both systems with you when you travel?
Well, not when I traveled. The timing of starting with Fuji was right before I made a European trip last year. And, after falling down a few times, the last one being with you, I was like, clearly this isn't going to work for me. And I was going to be going to, with Valerie Jardin, and she walks, it's in Paris, walking 10, 15 miles a day. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that with my Canon gear.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much cold turkey for that trip. And then I was gone long enough that I used it every single day and kind of went, well, I don't know why I'd go back. So I thought I would take it out. I think I did a couple times, but I loved the results and the ease and the speed with which I could get the image I wanted done and out there. It was revolutionary for me.
I know I'm going to find this person. I got to find the person that says something negative about Fuji, because everyone I talk to says it's positive. It's like, okay, what's going on here?
Well, and your point about the APS-C and can you make big prints? Okay, well, if you're going to make 6-foot prints, can you use a Fuji? I don't know. I printed up to 24 by 36. It was flawless. Absolutely.
I don't think I'd want to go any larger than that, 24 by 36.
Yeah, most people don't. I mean, in the fine art world, the larger prints, that's another step in another market. I shoot panos for the kinds of shots that I know suit, my clients on that end. That kind of makes up the difference.
The one thing, me as being the multimediographer, the one thing that's probably missing from Fuji is they're not known for video, right?
No.
It's a still photographer system. It's not
truly.
Not like the Panasonic does a lot of stuff, right? With the 4K and 4K extraction and all that stuff. That's not going to be in this system, correct?
Correct. And that I had to, that was one of I desired good video, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me because I'm primarily a photographer and I come from a film background. Fuji's been doing it for 50 years, making cameras and film and stuff. And they just have a thing that they do. So so nobody else came close on that level. So the fact that they didn't do video was like, I would prefer it, but with Panasonic that it's primarily video, and then the photos, the images are good, but they're secondary to the incredibleness of the video.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I mean, there's something to be said when you focus on one thing, you do it well. And blow the doors off from everyone else. But there's still obviously like me, I'm in the market for the multimedia aspect of it too. So I need to be able to do a lot of stuff really well, including video and still photography. So it's how come they can't be just one? I want one system that I just make a choice in. Yeah, but
I go back and forth on that because every all-in-one system, not just in cameras, but in devices and kitchen utensils. I mean, whatever out there, you have some amazing all-in-ones, but they're never the best at any one of them.
No, that's right.
And I really wanted this thing in a camera in my photos that was just going to be like so beyond anything else that I could find, for what I wanted. And Fuji was that. It just happened that their video isn't as good. And I'm like, well, there you go. They specialize. They're better than anybody else at this. And that's what I want. And if I have to get some little
all trades thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And so if I have to use my iPhone or get some little video camera, whatever, so be it.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's switch gears. I want to switch gears away from hardware and talk about, you have this retreat coming up soon, right?
I do. I'm going to have a sip of tea because I want to tell you about that.
And I'll set up, you're going to Provence.
Yes.
Did I say that right? Provence?
Provence. Yes.
Down here, Provence. So you're going to Provence and you're taking a group of lucky people, and this is not a crowd. You're taking a small, intimate group. In fact, you're calling this a retreat. So tell me about that. I want to hear all about it. I've never heard them call it a retreat.
I know. Well, this is a little different approach than a workshop. Basically, so this has a limit of 6 people. Less is okay too. I wanted a very small group, and we're doing this at Julia Child's house in Did I tell you that part?
No.
Yeah. So someone I know bought Julia Child's house, and she's doing, retreats, yoga and cooking retreats are going to, classes and stuff. So there's cooking still going on there. It was a cooking school between the time that Julia left us and now McKenna Johnston bought it, and this is what we're doing. So I will be the second photography retreat there. The first one ends the day before mine. And it's all really, really new there to do photography. But I'm doing it as a retreat because exactly what we were just talking about a minute ago. I'm calling it the artist's voice, because I think in photography, we often get it backwards. What's a good picture? What do I do with this slider? It's like, well, you haven't asked the right questions yet. You haven't determined the things that you love the most, the deepest, that resonate in a place in you, that inform what to shoot, how to shoot, what gear you need, what light you want to do, to a degree that it completely makes your voice and your message and your signature imprint on everything you do completely identifiable. Mm-hmm. We get lost in gear. We get lost in, so-and-so shot that, and I need to get it to look like that. It's like, So this is an opportunity for 4 days and 4 nights at Julia Child's house in the French Riviera to explore all this. And yes, we're going to go out and take pictures. We're also going to do a cooking class because the gal who owns the house now is an incredible chef, and I wanted her to do a cooking class for us. I want to do things that are totally relatable to photography, but aren't just photography. Because one thing I know, after a lifetime of all these careers, figure skater, horseback rider, dancer, taught voice, and just done so many things, the threads of truth from each of them all weave together into really knowing who you are, knowing what it is you want to say, and that it applies to anything.
That's crazy. All right. So back to this house.
Yes.
Are the participants staying in the house?
Yes.
Or you actually stay in Julia Child's house?
Yes.
And they're going to be doing a cooking class in Julia Child's house, doing photography.
And we're going to photograph the food, doing photography. French Riviera, Grasse, which is 10 minutes away, is a village town, very, very, very close to the house. It's known as the perfume capital of the world. Fragonard has their base operation there. The whole town is surrounded by flowers, fragrant flowers that they harvest for the perfumes. And they're having a rose festival while we're there. And I saw pictures from last year. There are just roses everywhere, in arrangements. And then, in France, there's little medieval villages everywhere. So, I'm going to go and scout the ones that we might want to go and see and experience, but all within half an hour. And plus it's a half an hour from Cannes, a half an hour from Nice.
So people can maybe tack on something onto this.
Oh, yeah.
If they're from the United States, it's a long trek to get over there. Might as well add a couple of days into a neighboring region if they want, right?
Exactly. You can fly into Nice, which is a half an hour away, but you could also fly into Paris and take the train, and have this incredible train adventure before you even get there or after. And I'm flying into and out of different cities, and I was just stunned at how low the airfares are right now.
It's crazy right now, right? Yeah,
it really is. So it's like it's really affordable. The car rental was much less than I thought, and I'm going to be over there traveling quite a bit before the retreat. So I was surprised I think it's partly the time of year.
So let me guess. So I'm going to price this for you.
Okay.
I would price this at probably $48.95 or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So and my math is coming from about, you're staying in Julia Child's house, which is, it's not her house anymore, but it was her house. So that's worth a lot just for the history. I would watch the movie on the way over there just to get
Julia. Yeah, that one.
I'd watch that. I think I own that. So just for that, I think that's huge. Then there's a cooking class so you can brag. There's the bragging rights of I took the class there, right? And then the photography and all that stuff. So I think easily around 48. What's the price? How close am I?
Well, I have an early bird special going on right now. If you sign up before March 20th, I have to double check what the date is, but it's $28.50, all inclusive.
$28.50.
Yeah.
All they have to do is get themselves into the country,
pretty much,
and and then that's it. So everything from there, get themselves in and out of the country, and then you take it from there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
You stay at the house, that's included. We have 2 meals a day are included. So if you want to eat more than that, there might be a little extra snackage you might want to pick up.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I hear that region has food some places.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of Provence and good food and local fare. And it's really all inclusive.
$28.50. And I have notes there. You told me to make sure I reminded you about a special that you're going to do for TWiP.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So because it's you, Frederick, because this is TWiP, and because TWiP, right? You guys know Frederick. Those of us out here in behind the scenes know what a huge difference Frederick has made for all of us and for the photography industry, and what a contribution you've made. So for TWiP listeners, I wanted to offer a special $200 off the early bird price, so $26.50. I just decided today that that's what I want to do for you guys. Oh, and this is mostly for subscribers to my website, but I also am going to throw in, I sound like it's an auction or something, but I'm just so excited about this. And I really want to make it as affordable as I can for people. That's more important because this message is so important, but I want to include a custom print. This particular custom print I do with my custom printer framer. So it's not like on metal and, that's all really great. This is actually framed. It's got the linen on the inside and the wood and this beautiful treatment of your favorite image from the trip done in this. We came up with a treatment that I do for special people. Some of my special clients I do this for. And I want to do it for each of our participants because it's a very small group. We have 2 spots left and we have people asking and looking.
There's two spots left on this.
That's it.
How many people total come on the
max of 6 people.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very small group. And that's intentional. I could do other kinds of workshops and do more people, but for this, I really wanted it to be able to, have some air and, to do some exploring and then kind of, get it to a place and then take it out into the world. This came about because this whole voice part, I've been in the voice scene for a long time, but this business of knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your message is, what it is you want to say, what you want people to feel about what you do. People always ask how I do what I do with my photography work for whatever reason. And I never really know how to answer them because the answer is way too deep. I can't just say, I just, bought a Fuji camera. It happens that Fuji aligns with all of this perfectly, but it's so much more than that. And that's what this retreat is going to be going into. And a lot of it, the other reason I wanted a small group is that a lot of what we do is going to be based on what the group need is. So often you go to workshops and, okay, this is the agenda. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. I'm coming up with, I have a big pool to draw from, but I'm going to see who my group is. And we're going to very custom design it around what people need and where to go. And I've taught, for 40 years. I took a break in photography, but I've taught everything I've ever done, and I know what works, and I know that this is a little bit more challenging, of a way to go about it, but you get so much more out of the experience. Yeah. So I wanted it to not be in the United States. I wanted it to be in France, where they work to live and they value, love and art and light, and in Provence, where the food is amazing. And there's just this whole way of being in this part of the world that's different than anything here in the States. And I just wanted to do the first one of these there and at Julia Child's house. Because you know what she stood for? You know what her catchphrase was?
No. What was it?
Courageous cooking.
Courageous cooking. So are you going to adopt that? And
I think it's very fitting because
photography?
Yeah, I think so. Because, I'm not going to steal it, but I do think it's I think it's a thing, of being in that house, being about the courage to really figure out who you are, what you stand for behind your camera. Even Ansel Adams said the most important part of a photograph, he said the most important part of a photograph is the 12 inches behind the camera. Wow.
That's prophetic. And I think when this thing, after it's over, based on the workshops that I've gone on, you will have made, and everyone on the workshop will have made lifelong friends.
Absolutely. Right? Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's going to be cool. So I did some math here while you were talking.
No, he's always doing math. What did you do this time?
This print,
what did you do?
the custom print of their favorite photo. How much is that retail?
That retails for $450.
So that's $450. You're knocking $200 off, or yeah.
The normal price is $3,000.
It's normally $3,000. So basically, it's coming down almost $800. So wow. For TWiP listeners, and that's because of you. They can thank you for that. Thank you. Send all checks to TWiP if you.
Don't do that, or you will.
No, don't do that. Congratulations, Karen. This is fantastic. Oh, one last thing. I know you have an ebook on your site too, right?
I do. It's called, strangely enough, the 10 Steps to Finding Your Voice. Surprisingly.
Yeah. There you go. Cool.
There it is.
And that's at Karen Hutton. So, okay, let's talk logistics a little bit. So there's no like shopping cart or anything for this.
No, it's too personal.
Yeah, it's a personal workshop. So it's not like, okay, go check out in Amazon Prime this thing, right? So where the people that are interested in snapping up those spots, where should they go?
They should go to KarenHutton.com/Provence. That's PROVENCE. And that we have a page there describing the whole thing, what's included. McKenna Johnston, who bought the place, and I did a hangout recently, talking about all kinds of things about voice and, manifesting and stuff like that. And so they can learn everything. And then there's a contact, there's a place you can click to contact me directly.
Mm-hmm. And that comes directly to your inbox. And then they just say, hey, Karen, I want that slot. And then
and if you want this discount is for TWiP people only, this particular one. So you say, I heard about it on TWiP.
Yeah, that's it. Or mention TWiP or Frederick or something. Yeah. And they get that magic $800. That's cool.
That magic $800. Yeah, that's true.
Hey, that's and get a magic ticket to go hang out in this this fantastic place.
And the book, if you want to get a sense of what the kind of like where I'm coming from, it's much bigger even than 4 days in Provence. But the basic idea is in my book ebook number 1, and you can find that at KarenHutton.com/10 steps. The number 10, numerical 10 steps, and that's the book. That is, I say it's part 1 because this goes through the whole process in a very specific way about following the line of what you love to create your signature compositions that really reflect who you are. Book 2, of course, will go into more about the gear and stuff like that.
Karen Hutton, you are always changing the world. You're like
Frederick. I'm just trying to keep up with you. That's all.
What is it? The pony, what was it? My Little Pony.
My Little MLP online. Unicorns and glitter.
Unicorns, glitter, and rainbows. Everywhere you go, the world. Like France will be monochromatic until you get there, and then suddenly all the hills will come alive with the sound of music.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Karen. So KarenHutton.com, KarenHutton.com/Provence, PROVENCE. And for that ebook, KarenHutton.com/
10 steps.
10, I was going to say 3. 10 steps, the number 10 steps, and I'll take them right to that. Yep. Plus, if they want to just follow you and check out your work everywhere, you're on Google Plus, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're everywhere. Right?
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram. Instagram. I heard you have 1 or 2 followers on Google Plus, so congratulations for that.
Thank you very much. I'm very fortunate. I do not take any of it for granted.
No, you don't. You are one of the most humble people I know. So thank you for doing this interview, and congratulations on this adventure that you're about to go on. I know it's going to be a huge success.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you, Frederick, for having me on. Really appreciate it, and love to all you guys out there.
All right, Karen. See you next time.
Bye.